Bill Broyles, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for your service. I watched the first few episodes of Vietnam, the war that changed America, and it is just mind-blowing. So much information, so much that I learned, and thank you so much. Tell us what this documentary is all about.
Well, I tell you, what it's not about is the big history picture and the politics. This is about the war as it was lived by people in the documentary when they were young and how they feel about it and reuniting them today when we're all old farts, pardon the language, and and still have been largely alone with those memories. And to be able to reconnect, there's a power of this that is so universal that it goes transforms time and space. And this is a documentary about deep human experiences that I think can connect to anyone in a way that the history's in the books now. It's flat and dry. This is alive and powerful and emotional and the deepest experience people have on the edge of the most extreme human experiences, and to come back and be reunited with people they shared that with. I respect it as a filmmaker, but I'm blown away by it as an audience member. I just find it incredible.
You're so right. These reunions are so emotional to see on screen, some of who haven't been reunited since the 50 years since the fall of Saigon. And we get to see these on camera. We also get to see never before seen footage. And you come in episode 4. Tell us more about where you come into this story.
I come in when suddenly all the idealism of the first part of the war is over. Everybody, my platoon that I showed up in as a raw second lieutenant had been there for months. They knew that the war was over. Nixon was withdrawing troops. They were trying to do peace talks, and they didn't want to die for Richard Nixon or Henry Kissinger or me or nothing. But they would die for each other, and they were amazing human beings. I learned more from them than I did at Oxford. And just to get be reunited with my possibly insubordinate radio man, and who kept me alive and I kept him alive, and to be reunited with him. Um, and he shows up in his Marine Corps jacket, 50 years later. And we just we had no words because we had been through an experience, and it's interesting because officer and enlisted man, there's normally the separation, but I was the only officer, and I slept next to him for months, and we were not separated for more than 6 feet. And so we really got to know each other in a deep, deep way. And he saved my life many times, and I saved his. And um, it's a really powerful experience.
It's so powerful to even watch it. And people are going to say, I know Bill Broyles. I know that name, creator of China Beach, screenwriter on Castaway, Apollo 13, but you're going back to your Vietnam roots, and you've done the screenwriting, you've done all this in Hollywood, but now you're going back to this, kind of sharing your legacy as a Vietnam veteran. What is it like to kind of relive these moments in your life?
Um, it's a blessing. First, because I'm actually here to do it. That's the biggest thing. And I'm so grateful. And it just reminds me of what I vowed to do once I got back home from Vietnam, just to try to be kind with people and not to look at them as stereotypes or the other, or just to be to try to be humble and be a human being. And you fail at that over and over, and I've done many things that I wish, but it just made me feel really full circle, right? And uh, it's sort of beyond words, really. I watch the documentary, and you can you see for yourself. I mean, it's really it's a privilege. It's like you're seeing things that no one's seen before when you see these reunions, and it's quite incredible. And the footage, the original footage, is extraordinary. I mean, it's a great piece of filmmaking, and I should know. I mean.
You are so right about that. Ethan Hawke narrates it. It's a 6-part docuseries that people are just going to eat up on Apple TV Plus starting January 31st. Thank you so much, Bill.
Thank you, Trevor.